Hey, Tony Gaskins here. A couple days ago, I got this email and it said Restoration Hardware. That's the furniture store. And I got my wife, she's shopped there, and I think she got our bed and maybe Tatum bed or maybe our couches from there, something like that. And it was like they've changed your credit limit. Now, when she first went there a couple years ago, she used Restoration Hardware and she applied for like their credit card or whatever in my name, and she used that, just kind of something to where you can build credit, build a rapport, I guess, build a history with somewhere that you like their stuff and you're gonna keep going, and you get points and all of that, get into their point system, their membership. And I didn't click the email just because, I mean, we're not buying furniture. We already got furniture and the card already paid off. And I got another email today. I guess it reported finally to the credit. And so I went. Now, the limit they had given us was, I think it was over 20,000. It probably was like 21,000. Now, I paid the card off a while back and we haven't used it. And we was walking through there probably a couple months ago, but we haven't used it. And now she got an office space that she was thinking about furnishing. I don't think she was gonna furnish it there, but I was just thinking like a few days ago, man, we could hit that Restoration Hardware, see what they got. They be having some nice stuff. It's just they overcharge for everything. It is not worth it. And so I log in, it say they done decreased the credit limit by $20,700. I thought the thing was a $21,000 limit now. So what that let me know is they preparing for hard times. When something like that right there happen, because they could have, the card been paid off for probably a year, or it could have been even 6 months. So they could have done looked at it, reviewed it every single month, and did not decrease it. So for them to just now decrease it right when everybody talking about recession this, recession that, what I believe happened is, I believe they had to have somebody go in and do an audit of all they high limit cards, like all they high limit, whatever it is. It's not even really a card, I guess it's like a store charge. Maybe that's 20,000 and up. And I bet they did that because they probably having a bunch of defaults. Because think about it. When we did that, and it's just doing it just to do it. I know I don't do the Dave Ramsey stuff. If somebody finna give me some money up front, I'm gonna take it. And then I'll space it out. So instead of paying $21,000 all at one time, they let you finance it. I think it was like $3,000 or $3,500 a month, which is still a lot. I mean, imagine paying a bill for $3,500 a month and it's not a mortgage, it's just furniture. And so get through that right there. I knew it was paid off. They left it off, but because it was so much, because I didn't realize their stuff was that much. I just told my wife, she was like, hey, what you think about this bed? I was like, all right, that look good. Then later, we was talking like months later, and I was like, what? The bed cost $10,000? She was like, yeah, I showed it to you and asked you what you thought about it. You said it was cool. I'm like, no, I ain't see that. Nah, I don't know what I was looking at. I might have saw 900. I ain't know I was looking at 9,900. I'm like, no, what the world? I'm like, do this bed get you a ticket into heaven? Like, is the Lord coming to visit the house? Like, what is going on? So they just charging crazy prices just to charge crazy prices. All the furniture probably right out of China. That's a lesson we need to come together, open furniture stores, because that's the real lick right there. That's the lick right there. And so I bet what's happening is they having so many defaults. Because like, you know, the other cars and stuff, they not decreasing. Like the Chase Chase Bank and all of that, you know, American Express and all that. But this here Restoration Hardware, this a little side. They not a real bank. They not a real credit card. They probably got some backing from whatever bank. And I can't remember who they backing is. I think their backing is TD Bank, which I know TD Bank from the car industry. They the ones that do like risky loans and stuff, because I think it's based in Toronto. I don't know, but they backing is TD Bank, and so they do like risky loans and stuff like that. And so for them to do that, I'm taking and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, y'all taking and y'all is trying to minimize. So this is what happened, because the card paid off, so I'm not a threat to them because I don't owe them nothing. But when banks see that hard times is coming, banks will look at people who have paid off their card or paid their card way down, and they will decrease, so that when hard times hit, you can't go charge that card up, and then because you in hard times, and then not be able to pay it off. So see, it's little things like that, it's little signs like that. Now yes, it's other things to where some banks, if they'll just do an audit every 30 days, and if you got the card and you had a 750 credit score, and then you charged up your card, and then you get you got 3, 4, 5 cards, you charge them up, you let them report at 70%, 80%, they'll take and cut your limit, because now you a risk. And in a lot of cards, they will audit you the first 30 days, or like the next 30 or the next 30. Especially American Express, they known for that. And so I done heard a lot of people talk about how they'll get American Express and it'll be like one of the open cards, the unlimited cards, and then after they credit score drop, next thing you know, now they got a set limit on there, when it's supposed to be an unlimited card. They got a set limit. And so banks do that, and rightfully so, because people will charge you up and run off on the plug. Now people will run off on the plug, we already know that. And so that right there let me know that these banks, at least TD Bank, which I can imagine TD probably struggling, boy, because TD, I remember when I was young and coming up and just getting into the card game, you know, I hear credit ain't where it's supposed to be, and you know, you want you something nice, want you something. The only person that they could go to, the only banks that'll do like them crazy, tricky loans, risky loans, was Santander, because I think they out of America too, outside of America, and TD Bank. Those the only ones. All the other banks, they weren't trying to do nothing risky. And so I know TD probably struggling, because let me tell you what happened. TD probably financed all the Lambos, all the Ferraris of the people who dropped a little bit of a bag, dropped a 50K, 80K down on a Ferrari out they PPP money, but they didn't have the rest of that money, so they got a car note that's $3 grand to $8 grand. I know that sound crazy, y'all, but for like a Bugatti, I remember a client had a Bugatti, car payment was $12,000 a month. Like Rolls Royce, your payment, if you buy it, the coloring and all that type of level, that 500K level, car payment 7-8K a month. Leasing it now, you be around 3K a month, but you got to put $100,000 down. So what happened is, people got that money, they put that 100K down, that 3K a month, that money ran out. That money probably ran out in 12 months. They went to swimming. They'll let you get behind now for a little while, 3 months or so, 4 months, then they coming to get that thing. So TD probably done lost their money. They probably done went and picked up so many cars throughout the country from the scammers who now have gone to prison or jail, or they out but they just can't afford it. So they done went and picked it up trying to report before it lose too much value. But now they probably, because the car market is down, TD can't recover that money. And the same thing, if you came in and you had amazing credit in the pandemic and you were walking past Restoration Hardware because it's at the mall, and you went in there and seen that nice furniture and you applied for that credit limit with that 800 credit score, that 700 credit score, 750, and they gave you 10K, 5K, 8K, you got your new couch or some whatever, and now you done lost your job. It's a lot of layoffs happening. So look, all the people at Boeing, all the people at Amazon, all these people at Nissan, 9,000 just got laid off. All the people in the tech industry, over 1 million people in the tech industry. Tech make good money. Sales, the sales, I got people in sales that was making 90, 100K, 200K laid off. So guess what? If you making 200K, you can shop at Restoration Hardware. But if they gonna give you your 10K up front, no interest, 0 interest for 12 months, you gonna take that because you ain't paying nothing extra. Bump what Dave Ramsey talking about. You finna take that. You 25, 30 years old, you got your nice little downtown apartment in DC, wherever, you living good, boom, laid off. Now, at $500 a month payment to Restoration Hardware, when you gotta keep a roof over your head, then you need transportation. So you like, man, I'm finna pay $500 or whatever the bill may be, $750 for this couch and these love chairs and this coffee table. Yo, y'all can come repo this, but it's not rental center. It's not Buddies. It's not rental center. So they're not gonna come pick that up when it's with a place like Restoration Hardware, CB2, which is Crate and Barrel and all that. They're not coming to pick that furniture up because it's on your credit. It's just gonna hit your credit. That's backed by a bank. It ain't. But it's buy right furniture or rental center furniture or bad cop furniture where they come and knocking on that door to come get it. So listen, this right here let you know, save your money. Save your money. Because when the bank start tipping you off and the bank start doing this, because for those of us who have empty cards, because I had the same thing. I had empty cards with and people say, oh, if you don't use it, they'll close it. No, they don't close it unless they see hard times coming. They don't just close it to close it. The only other reason they will close it or greatly minimize it is if you done carried a balance for a long time and you done been a risk and you done been late 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then boom, you pay it all the way off, and they like, oh, they must just got a tax return. They must just got a settlement from a car wreck. They must just got a bonus at work. But they a risk. They done been late 3, 4, 5 times. If they run this card back up, we might not get this money this next time around. Let's decrease that balance. Boom. They'll do it like that now. But when you're not a threat to them, when you ain't late, when you paying your bill on time, you paid it down, you ain't did nothing wrong, none of that right there, and they just out the blue decrease it, because it's not even hurting them with it being out there if it ain't being used. So, but when you hear about layoffs and they probably having their own layoffs at the bank. Bank of America closed 100 branches. How many branches you think TD Bank had closed? Probably 500. We probably ain't heard about it. But Bank of America had to close 100 branches. The branches just not making enough money to keep the doors open. Cause you know Bank of America got that lawsuit against them because their overdraft fees was, I think, $25 or $35. I think it was $35. And then they got a lawsuit to where they had to change it to $10 or $15, and they had to like deposit money into everybody's account who was in that class action lawsuit, or whoever, all their customers they hadn't did what it is, those overdraft fees on. Cause I remember I had something come out the account. I remember one time I had an empty account, and the account was connected to Cash Out when Cash Out first opened. And one of my athletes was like, he requested $1. And I guess he was just being funny. What he would do is just request $1 from everybody in his phone. He requested $1, and I hit pay, send him the $1. I just did it, I'm not even thinking. But it was connected to an empty account, and account that I don't use. Man, I got an email. They hit me with a $35 overdraft fee. It probably was 2015 or something. It was whenever it was. I think Cash Out was just when it just started. I can't remember what year it was though. And maybe it wasn't that. Yeah, it had to be about 2018 or something like that at the latest, probably. It's 2017. And $35 fee. So now the $1 that I sent that boy cost me $36. I say never again, Bank of America. And then my client that we doing the Dubai, the financial retreat. Now with that retreat right there, it's April 1st through April 8th. Write it down in your calendar. April 1st through April 8th, 2025. The retreat, it'll be around $5,000 because it's $2,500 for the retreat and then your travel. And so email in to support. And then what we doing over there is she is teaching because she done paid over $1 million for knowledge, for the type of knowledge that the big boys have. And she always trying to teach me about this stuff, and I just be like, man, listen, I ain't worried about all that. I ain't worried about all estate planning and all that, trust and all that. I just, for the longest, just told her, I ain't worried about it. But then I kept hearing about it. I'm like, okay. So listen, you got to have a LLC. You know, set your LLC up, because what she also teaching, she bringing the bank. She bringing the bank to get you funding. And so when you write into support, so listen, if you don't have a company, or she could set a company up for you now, your LLC, to get you in position, get you prepared. But she doing business credit, and she getting approvals for your business funding. So this is something serious. It ain't, oh, I just got this random idea. No, you got to be in order. You got to have something going. You know, have your LLC. You know, be working on your personal credit, paying down your debt, stuff like that, so you could be in position. But she does credit repair and everything, and so she build business credit and all of that. So email support@TonyGaskins.com, and I'll put you on the list, the info list, where she'll send you the form to fill out to see if you ready, if you qualify for the Dubai retreat. And now I'm supposed to go because I need to learn stuff for myself too, but I can't promise that I'm gonna go but I'm trying to go. So don't go because you think you going, because I'm gonna be there. Now she was like, they need to see your face. I'm like, they heard my voice, they heard me tell them about it out my mouth, so they know it's me talking about it now. But I realized, I just found out that's the Final Four for the men's and the women's teams. And so if one of my teams that I work with, on the women's side or the men's side go to the Final Four, I'm gonna have to go to the Final Four. It's a nice truck, but it got. So yeah, this thing getting real now. So trust me when I tell you, this thing getting real. Okay, my dentist open. I got a dentist appointment today, y'all. So for y'all forgive me. I think it's at 9:15. It's 8:55, so I ain't got too much time. But get ready for this. This what I want you to understand. Get ready for this, and know that you're gonna have to be prepared for what's to come. Because so what you want to do, if you didn't have a card like that, like a retail card, you got to take and do a little sweep of your accounts. Get on your, what that thing called, Credit Karma or whatever one you got, and look at your accounts and see what you need to do. You know, see if you need to, if you got an empty account, they might be coming to close it. So if you want to try to keep it open, it don't mean they won't close it now. They will close a card, and you just got to continue to make your monthly payments, but you can't make any more charges. They also will decrease. Because I remember a long time ago, I had a Chase card, and it had a $8,800 limit, and I had charged it up, and I was taking my time paying it down. I wasn't rushing. I ain't know nothing about credit and all of that. And then I just one day just paid it off. And when I paid it off, but I paid it off from some grands, it probably still had a few grand that was left on there. I paid it off, and they cut it from $8,800 to $6,100. That was $2,700 that they took off after I gave them all their money. But that's how banks will do. That's how banks will do. They will. So you gotta learn about that. See, I learned credit and all that just by going through the rigmarole, just by going through it, not by talking to nobody. And so I learned that now, if you charge it up the first month and you pay it all the way off, you pay your full balance, they're not gonna close your card the next month unless your credit score done drop bad, and you charge it up the next month and pay it all the way off. Charge it up the next month, pay it all the way up. They're not gonna close your card because you give them their money. If you charge it up and you carry that full balance and you pay the minimum due for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, and then you pay it all the way off, they're gonna close that card on you, or they're gonna decrease that balance on you. So you gotta come up with your strategy on how you gonna pay it. If you just gonna pay it down to 30% and just carry that 30%, but you paid the full, amount due plus a little more or whatever. But it's no 100% way, because we never know what the banks are going through. So the bank could have had $50 million in fraud that they just got hit with. That the scammers just chose that bank, like Navy Federal. Them scammers were choosing Navy Federal. Them scammers had their eyes set on Navy Federal and finna hit you. Bam! Navy Federal probably had to do all kind of closing cards and all kind of repos and all kind of stuff. They probably had to call back all kind of stuff. People like, what's going on? What I did? Oh, the scammers. The scammers that cost you. They done jumped on Navy Federal neck. And so when you start to see this stuff, you got to understand this stuff and realize that the little boy pointing at the car. The lady was looking at the car hard. Man, I'm doing something to you now. And so when you start to see this stuff, you got to start to take notes. Like, oh, okay, something going on. I got to get ready. Like y'all pastor used to say, get ready, get ready, get ready. You got to pay attention to it so that you could be ready, because you don't want to spend nothing that you don't have to spend. And you want to start sitting in cash. If you hearing rumors about being laid off, you might want to take, and you don't have a cash savings, you might want to take, and this ain't conventional advice now, but this survival advice. If you got credit cards, $20,000 in worth of open credit cards, and you just got laid off last week, you might want to get some of that cash, and you don't have a cash savings, you might want to get some of that cash off that credit card. Because if they take and close that card in a couple months, or when Trump get in there, they take and close that card because we getting ready to go through a recession. Now that 20K you can't touch. Now had you got that money off that card, you done charged that money, you got it off of there, or you paid up your rent or paid up your mortgage. It's different little sites that allow you to pay your mortgage or pay your rent through the site with a credit card. You just got to Google it. They charge a small little, probably 3% fee, but you got to Google it and see how to pay my mortgage with a credit card, how to pay my rent with a credit card. There's different sites out there that let you do it. And now, of course, if you have a business, if you have like a LLC or something, you can take and buy from your own company. Like you create a Square account or a PayPal account, you could buy your own product or what have you, and now that money gonna have to be counted as income. You, your own customer, that money gonna have to be counted as income on your taxes. But if you ain't earned a bunch of money and you get to write off stuff from an LLC, you're not gonna have to pay taxes. But now you got that money, it's off that card. If you got you a 0% interest card, or if your card is not 0% interest, you could transfer the balance while your credit is high. While you at a 700 credit score or whatever, 750, 800, you could transfer that money to a zero balance, zero interest 18-month card. Boom, transfer that balance. Now you could get that money off of that card because they want you to spend X amount in the first 90 days. You're gonna get points for spending that amount, and now you got 0% interest, and then you pay that card back. You know, you're gonna start paying that card back while you still gainfully employed, or if you just got laid off. Because if you just got laid off and you ain't got no savings now, you got to ask yourself, would it be better for me to charge up this credit card, get this money off this credit card, and have my rent paid up for the next 6 months, or not have, knowing I done mismanaged my money, ain't got no savings, and now I'm finna get evicted next month, whereas I could just pay my rent up with this credit card and then be applying to jobs and get a job in the next 30 days to 60 days and now start paying this card back. See, sometimes it's about survival. See, a lot of times when people be giving financial advice, like Dave Ramsey and them, they always be talking about no debt, no debt, no debt. Listen, if debt gonna keep a roof over your head, bump all that. Because you don't owe no man nothing but to love him. The borrower becomes servant to the lender. So yeah, you're gonna be a servant till you pay it off. But at the end of the day, if you can't pay it off, that's why they done created bad credit. That's why they done created credit repair companies. That's why they done created bankruptcy. That's why y'all president done filed bankruptcy a gazillion times. Because he got this debt. Hotel wasn't doing what he wanted it to do, wasn't performing on where he thought it was gonna perform. Now he owed 400 million, 200 million, don't have the money to pay it. That's why he wanted to run for president, so that he could get some money. Can't pay that bill, got to file bankruptcy. Try to trick the taxes and say made less than he did, or try to inflate a building and say it's worth this so he could get a bigger loan when it ain't worth that. Fraud. But doing fraud. Now he about to get immunity, you know, or what have you when he get in there. And or what you call it? Yeah, he about to get immunity or whatever they call it. Clemency or whatever he finna do for himself in the January 6th, people. So now he about to get that immunity. But so listen, if your president, and a lot of people act like Donald Trump pay their bills or gave them their salvation and get mad when I just call a spade a spade. I ain't got nothing against the man. I'm just telling you what the man did. The man filed bankruptcy time and time again. It's like, I'm just telling you what the man did. So listen, if your president in billions of dollars worth of debt have not paid taxes in 10 years, done filed bankruptcy, done went to court for financial fraud, don't you be so debt scared when you see that the leader of the free world, done had the leverage credit, done had the leverage loans. Like, don't be so debt scared, because at the end of the day, he was lying on applications and stuff, so that's why he could have faced jail time. But he ain't going to nobody's jail. He ain't going to prison. So you ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to lie. It's just you got credit. If you need to use your credit before the bottom fall out, use your credit. Because as I just told you, mine was just for furniture. It was a furniture store. Because my credit cards that I could spend at wherever, I use them for the points versus a debit card. I try my hardest not to use a debit card, even though now the bank's giving points for debit card swipes too. Or not points, but they giving kickbacks. Like, you swipe here, you get 10% off. You spend here, spend there, get 10% off, get 100 off of this amount. They're doing stuff like that, but if you don't want to shop with those places, they don't benefit you. But with the credit cards, you'll get the points. Regardless of where you shopping at, you get them points. And then you cash them points back in for X amount of dollars, or for travel points, or whatever you need to do. So if you see that, if you got a card sitting there, they gonna close it, and you just got laid off, or you heard tell that your company doing layoffs, and you might be in the layoffs in the next 30 to 60 days, then you might want to grab some of that cash off that card just to give yourself a little cushion. And then if you beat the layoffs, then boom, just pay it right back to the card. You could just start paying it little bit by little bit, so it don't look too drastic. And then some people, well, what about the interest and all of that? When you have to pay interest, the way I look at it is, it's the cost of doing business. The bank is taking a chance by letting you borrow money. They deserve to receive interest for what they loaned you. It's the cost of doing business. I don't look at it like interest is the worst thing in the world, because that's what keep a bank open. If everybody tricked the system and nobody paying interest, the bank cannot afford to give loans into anybody. So mortgages will cease to exist. Credit cards will cease to exist if nobody is paying interest. So what we're doing by paying interest, even if you just got to pay it for a few months until you could pay your card off, or 6 months or a year, it's not the end of the world, because that's the cost of doing business. And so that's why I don't get so caught up trying to trick the bank out their money and trying to, do the little credit card stacking to where this card is owed $6,000, and so every month I may pay the $6,000 off with another card so that I don't have to pay interest, and then take that card and pay off the other card that I just charged so I don't have to pay interest. Like, yeah, that game is cool, it's fun and all that when you need it, but when you can't do that, just pay your little interest, and pay your interest, and then climb on up out of it when you can. But life ain't always going to be crystal clear, and life not always going to be perfect. So understand that. Hey, this is Tony Gaskin. Got 5 minutes, so I go in here See, I thought my appointment was 10:15, but the email they sent me said it was 9:15. So I'm finna go ahead and see which one it really is. But God bless you, and we'll talk soon. Now, these right here videos, I'm not no financial expert or nothing like that. I just be sharing with you a little bit of stuff I learned out the mud the hard way, but also just because I know everybody dealing with money issues, and so I throw this stuff out there sometimes just to give you another perspective, because I know the people who make a living from talking about money, they could never say this, what I'm gonna say. But I don't make a living from talking about finances, so I'm gonna give you the real, even though it's not traditional or conventional insight. And that's just cause how me and Trump, we gonna take them financial chances. Even though I don't care for him as a person, but we gonna take the financial chances now. And so, got to get you a little lesson. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon.